What if one of the world's oldest, most epic stories was more than just a story? Today, we're diving into the Ramayana, the ancient epic. But some researchers believe that hidden inside its verses is something truly incredible, a detailed map of the entire planet, laid out thousands of years before the so-called Age of Exploration. And that's the big question we're tackling today. Could an ancient poem really contain geographical knowledge so advanced that it describes continents and natural wonders that were supposedly undiscovered for millennia? To even begin to answer that, we've got to dig into what the text actually says. So, here's the setup. It all starts with a terrible crime. The princess Sita has been abducted. Her husband, Rama, makes an alliance with the mighty monkey king Sugreev. And Sugreev's response? Well, he doesn't just send out a few scouts. He launches what might just be the most ambitious, wide-ranging search party in all of literature. Now, this whole wild theory comes from a very specific part of the Ramayana called the Kishkindha Kanda. This is the section where Sugreev gathers his massive armies and gives them their marching orders. And it's right there, within those orders, that this stunningly detailed world map is supposedly hidden. And listen, these aren't vague directions like you go east, you go west. No way. Sugreev gives each search party a detailed, step-by-step itinerary. He names specific mountains, rivers, kingdoms. He even describes the unique people and, yeah, creatures they're gonna find. It's like he's laying out a verbal atlas of the entire world for them. We're gonna start by following the search party that was sent east. And you'll see why, because this is where the directions become truly mind-bending, taking us way, way beyond the borders of ancient India. Just look at this proposed route. It is absolutely staggering. Sugreev supposedly directs his troops to go through Southeast Asia, then cross the entire Pacific Ocean, and finally land in the Andes Mountains of South America. I mean, for the ancient world, a journey like that sounds completely impossible. But let's see what the verses say. Okay, so first he mentions Yavadipa, or the island of Java. The source for this analysis identifies this as a pretty clear reference to modern-day Java and the islands of Indonesia, which, were historically famous for their wealth and their gold mines. So, boom, we have a solid real-world starting point. But from there, things take a turn for the weird. Sugreev warns his scouts about these horrifying Mandeha demons that, get this, dangle upside down from mountain peaks. Now, what on earth could he be describing? The explanation that's been proposed is, well, it's fascinating. According to the source, these so-called demons aren't supernatural at all. They're actually a pretty spot-on description of vampire bats, creatures native to Central and South America that, hang upside down in caves. If that's right, that's an incredible leap of knowledge across the entire globe. But maybe the most jaw-dropping piece of evidence from this Eastern journey is this right here. The text describes a massive golden pylon, something that looks like a palm tree with 3 branches marking the farthest point east. And that is a startlingly precise description of a real thing, the Paracas candelabra, a massive, ancient, trident-shaped carving on a coastal hillside in Peru. I mean, you look at them side by side, the resemblance is just uncanny. All right, let's switch gears and head west. Now, unlike that wild journey to the east, this route starts in much more familiar territory. And this is important because it really helps ground the text in credible, known geography before it starts venturing out again. So, right off the bat, the instructions mention places like Saurashtra and Bahalika, which we can easily identify today as Gujarat in India and the Punjab region. And the Pariyatra Mountains? They're believed to be the modern Solomon Range in Pakistan. See? We're dealing with verifiable geography here. As the search party pushes further west, Sugreev gives them this really specific warning about the people they'll find in those Pariyatra mountains. He describes these fierce guardians called Gandharvas, who are diligently protecting their fruits and tubers. And here's the cool cultural connection. The source points out that this exact region, which lines up with modern-day Afghanistan, is famous for its fruit orchards. And the practice of fiercely guarding those valuable crops is a real, deep-rooted tradition there. It's a little detail, but it makes the epic feel so much more tangible, so rooted in a human reality. Okay, for our final journey, let's follow the third party, the one sent to the formidable and mystical north. This trip takes us up into the high Himalayas and, according to the source, maybe all the way to the edge of the Arctic. The northern itinerary is this incredible mix of the real and the totally fantastical.
It mentions the sacred Mount Kailash in Tibet. That's a real place. It describes lands rich in lapis lazuli. Again, totally accurate for the region. But then it talks about lakes filled with golden lotuses and this mysterious, impassable northern border that no one is ever allowed to cross.
And this is where we get this beautiful but puzzling description. Sugreev talks about a land in the far north that is sunless, but it still shines as if it's lit up by the sun. It's this gorgeous paradox, a land of shining darkness.
So that's the riddle, right? What natural phenomenon could possibly match a description like that? A place that has no sun, but still glows with its own brilliant light. What could it be? And the proposed answer is, once again, just stunning. The source suggests this is a perfect poetic description of the aurora borealis. Yep, the northern lights. This amazing natural wonder lights up the dark Arctic sky in a land where, for months at a time, the sun doesn't rise at all. It just fits perfectly.
Okay, let's step back for a second. When you pull all of these different threads together, from South America to Afghanistan to the Arctic Circle, what are we really looking at? The source argues that we're looking at nothing less than a global atlas, hidden in plain sight this whole time. I mean, let's just quickly run through the greatest hits. To the east, you have a description that is a dead ringer for the Paracas candelabra in Peru. To the west, you get a culturally spot-on detail about orchard guardians in Afghanistan. And to the north, a description that sounds an awful lot like the aurora borealis.
What this all boils down to is this. If these interpretations are right, then the Ramayana contains an awareness of world geography that is profoundly, radically ahead of its time. It's describing a world that's connected from the Andes all the way to the Arctic, long, long before we thought anyone had that kind of knowledge. And that, of course, leaves us with the final, absolutely tantalizing question. Is this all just a series of incredible, beautiful, poetic coincidences? Or, as the source suggests, did the author of this ancient epic somehow have access to a forgotten body of knowledge about our planet? Well, that's a mystery I'll leave for you to think about.